The moment the anesthesia mask came down over my face, I remember gripping my phone tighter than the nurse's hand. My last thought before the world blurred into sterile white light was of her. My wife, Anna. "Call her," I'd whispered to the nurse, voice trembling through the haze. "Please tell her I'm going in now. She promised she'd be here." The nurse smiled gently. "We already did, Mr. Miller. She knows." But she didn't answer. As the sedative crept through my veins and the sound of monitors faded into rhythmic beeps, something inside me felt colder than the surgical steel surrounding me. It wasn't just fear. It was the sinking realization that Anna hadn't called back. Not even a text. When I woke up, the first face I saw wasn't hers. It was Dr. Patel, the surgeon. "Mr. Miller, the procedure went well," he said, voice calm but clinical. "You're lucky we caught it early." Lucky. That word echoed in my head as I blinked at the blurry ceiling lights. My chest burned, my throat was dry, and my hand reached out instinctively to the table beside the bed, where I expected her phone call, her voice, her warmth. Nothing. Only a missed call log showing Mom and Dr. Patel's office. But not Anna. By evening, she finally appeared. Her perfume entered before she did. A faint, sugary scent that once made my heart race but now felt cloying. She wore a blue dress, makeup too perfect for a hospital visit. "Oh my God, Ethan," she said, rushing to my side with a practiced gasp. "I came as soon as I could. Are you okay?" I studied her face. Her eyes darted, not meeting mine. "I called you," I said quietly. My voice rasped like sandpaper. "Before the surgery." I know," she said quickly. I was caught up at work. My phone was on silent. Her tone was too polished, too rehearsed. And I knew. Deep down I knew. Anna never put her phone on silent. Not even during church, not even when we argued. The recovery was supposed to take 2 weeks. It took me less than 2 days to realize something was horribly wrong in my marriage. She visited once a day. Always for less than 20 minutes. Always checking her phone, smiling at messages she didn't explain. When I asked who she was texting, she'd laugh it off. "Just work stuff, babe. Don't stress, you need to heal." But healing wasn't possible when the wound wasn't in my chest. It was in my trust. The night before I was discharged, I couldn't sleep. Painkillers dulled the ache in my body but sharpened the ache in my mind. At 2:47 a.m., I reached for her phone on the bedside table. I told myself I wouldn't open it. Just hold it. Just feel it. But temptation has a way of whispering when silence grows too loud. The lock screen lit up with a message. "You awake? I miss your voice. Wish it was me there instead of him. Nathan." Nathan. Her friend from work. The one she once mentioned offhandedly, saying, "He's gay, relax, babe." My stomach twisted. I scrolled through their chat. My pulse pounded so hard the stitches in my chest throbbed. Photos. Voice notes. "Good morning, beautiful. Last night was perfect. I can't stop thinking about your lips." And then, 2 hours before my surgery, her last message to him. "He's calling me again. I'll text you once he's under. Wish me luck, I hate pretending." I don't remember when the phone slipped from my hand. Just the sound it made when it hit the tile floor. A sharp, hollow crack that mirrored something inside me. When she came in the next morning with coffee and flowers, I pretended to be asleep. She kissed my forehead lightly, whispered something soft and meaningless, and left before I could open my eyes. That's when I decided she'd never see me break. When I returned home, I moved through the house like a ghost. The scent of her perfume lingered in the hallway. The same one that once made me smile when I came home from work. Now it smelled like betrayal. "Ethan, you're quiet," she said one night over dinner, twirling her fork absent-mindedly. "Is it the medication?" I looked at her across the table, the soft glow of the dining room lamp casting shadows on her face. "Yeah," I said. "It numbs the pain." She smiled faintly, not realizing the double meaning. I began watching her patterns. Her new late meetings, the way she started dressing differently, how she'd step outside to take client calls. I didn't confront her, not yet. Pain had turned into clarity, and clarity demanded patience. A week later I followed her. She left at 6:30 p.m., saying she was meeting a client at a downtown restaurant. I waited 10 minutes, then took a cab. She wasn't at the restaurant, but I found her car parked behind the old Wyndham Hotel, the one near the waterfront. My heart pounded as I saw her get out of the passenger seat of a black SUV. Nathan stepped out too. He kissed her. She didn't resist. She laughed. They walked into the lobby, hands brushing together like two people too comfortable with each other to care who saw. I sat in the cab for 15 minutes before I could even breathe properly again. My chest ached, not from the surgery, but from everything I'd believed about her collapsing in on itself. That night I didn't go home. I booked another room in the same hotel, 2 floors above theirs. I didn't sleep. I just listened, to muffled laughter, distant footsteps, and the hollow echo of my own heartbeat. At dawn I checked out and drove home. I packed her things carefully. Clothes, makeup, jewelry, even the framed photo from our wedding. I stacked everything in neat boxes by the door. When she came home later that morning, I was sitting on the couch with her phone and my discharge papers in front of me. "Morning," she said hesitantly. "You're up early." "Yeah," I replied. "Didn't sleep well. Too many calls last night." Her face drained of color. "Ethan, I held up the phone. "He was there, wasn't he?" "Nathan." Her lips parted, eyes glistening with guilt or maybe fear. "It's not what you think." "Then explain," I said, my voice trembling but controlled. "Because while I was on that table, wondering if I'd wake up again, I called you. I wanted to hear your voice. And you were busy pretending with him." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Ethan, I didn't mean for it to go this far. I was scared. You were sick, and I didn't know how to handle." "Don't," I said quietly. "Don't turn my surgery into your excuse." She tried to reach for me, but I stepped back. "I loved you," I said, my throat raw. "God, I trusted you. And you couldn't even pick up the phone while they were cutting into my chest." "I made a mistake," she whispered, voice shaking. "I still love you." "No," I said, shaking my head slowly. "You love what I gave you, comfort, security, someone to lie to and still feel safe beside. But love, that's what you left unanswered in a hospital room." By afternoon she was gone. She didn't fight it. Maybe she knew there was nothing left to fight for. The silence that followed wasn't peaceful. It was heavy, suffocating. I spent nights replaying every moment, every sign I'd ignored. The way she'd laughed differently when she talked to him. The way she'd pull away when I tried to hold her. Grief and anger blended into something sharper. Acceptance. 3 months passed. The scars on my chest faded to thin white lines, but the one she left still burned. One day I got a call from her mother. Anna had been in a car accident. Nothing fatal but serious. She asked if I could come. I didn't. Because I knew, if she could ignore me while I lay on an operating table, I could ignore her while she lay in regret. A few weeks later I visited the hospital. Not hers but mine. I brought a small box of chocolates and a thank you note for Dr. Patel and the nurses who'd cared for me. As I walked through those familiar halls, I passed the same operating room. The memory of that day flashed in my mind. Cold air, fluorescent light, the desperate hope for a call that never came. But this time I smiled. Because that silence, the one that nearly broke me, had also saved me. It taught me who she truly was. And it reminded me who I could still become without her. When she remembered to love me, it was too late. And for the first time in months, that didn't hurt anymore.